really need to change my nails, so I decided to do another shorter stream. A little bit of nail polish and chill. So, I'm gonna get my tweet sent out here, and then we'll get started. Got a really gorgeous color that I'm gonna be using this week. And I didn't use it last week because I wasn't using a peel-off base coat and it's really glittery. So, hello Liz. Thank you for joining me. I'm just getting my tweet sent out here. We're going to be doing another just kind of shorter stream. A nail polish manicure stream, not a testing stream. After I take off my current manicure. There's the tweet. Everything is looking good here, I think. Sometimes it's like, I still feel like I have to be forgetting something before I start streaming. Like last time I forgot to update my stream title. I remembered that this time, but I feel like I still must be forgetting something. So right now I still have on the crisscross manicure, and I've made a few changes to my webcam setup. So like before we were maybe about here. Now we can get in here. Can even get a little closer than that, but I think this will be a lot, obviously, closer of a view so that you guys can really see what's going on here. And hopefully that works out okay. I should probably keep that window up in case I need to adjust anything. And, excuse me, I thought about just making the title peel porn and then nail polish and chill, and then I thought, you know, maybe I should not have porn in my stream title. So I'm gonna get a napkin here just so that I have something that'll be easy to collect the peelies on. And actually for this, maybe just not quite this close, like maybe about here should be good. And I think, is this right now? Yeah. Before, I hadn't even noticed that the cat cam was on mirrored, and I finally noticed, so I finally switched it. So if things look a little bit weird over here in Beanie's area, I think that should still be set up properly. Sometimes it's like my brain does not want to recognize if something is mirrored or not, because it's like it doesn't look wrong, it just isn't in the right direction. So, okay, I think we've got all this. We've got our communities. We've got our title. Megabutts, hello. Thank you for joining us. I guess I'm just going to get to it. And anybody that is a little bit late is going to miss the peel porn. So, I did not name it peel porn. That credit can go to Christine from Simply Nailogical. But basically, when you use peel-off base coat, the great part about it is, then you get to peel off your manicure when you're done. And I did this late Sunday evening, and it's now Thursday. So, if you want to count Sunday or not, that's still the 5th day of wear, and it's hanging in there really well. And a lot of times, I'll use a little bit of oil to get started. I thought this would pop off a little bit easier, so I didn't actually do that. But we'll see how the first couple come off, and then maybe add a little bit of oil if we need. Cleaning your room, glad to have some company. Oh, well that's nice. You know, that's a lot of times what I have Twitch for too, is company and a little bit of background conversation. You've been lurking for a while. Oh, well, I'm glad you got to catch a stream. This is kind of another unscheduled one. But, Jackie, hello. Thank you for joining us. Last week's unscheduled one went so well that I decided, why not give it another go this week? And, you know, these are actually coming off quite stubbornly. I don't know if even oil would help this, because usually oil is just to kind of get it started at the very edge, and then it should peel off pretty cleanly aside from that. But that pinky nail did not come off in a very satisfying fashion. What I was gonna say, you guys that are just watching and kind of having background, you know, and as far as you too, Megabutts, as far as lurking, like, I completely understand, because usually when I'm on a channel, that's what I'm doing. I usually try to at least say hi if I know that it's a streamer that I know a little bit or that interacts a lot with their chat. But a lot of times it's just nice to have something on in the background that isn't, you know, like daytime TV or even late night TV. You know, at a certain point at night, it's like it gets really, really hard to find a channel that's not just airing an infomercial of some type. And that's when I do a lot of my Twitch viewing. So, just gonna get this off here, and if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to chat about, let me know, or otherwise I'm just gonna probably ramble in random fashion. One of these days I do intend to find some suitable music so that when I'm not, when I don't have anything to say, it's not just like dead air. I was looking around, because a lot of streamers will just stream Spotify or play whatever kind of music, which is fun and is fine until you get to VODs or you get to exporting it to YouTube, and then you're going to end up with copyright claims and end up muted or blocked or like that, and that's a pain in the butt, and I don't want that to happen, because I know a lot of people cannot necessarily make the live stream, so I really want to be able to make sure to make the videos available after the fact. God, this is so stubborn. I probably could have gotten away with wearing this for a couple more days. Megabutts, yes. I absolutely usually do. This, I'm really not quite sure why this one is being so stubborn. Usually they peel off easily. And this one is really not. A lot of times I have trouble getting more than like 2 or 3 days of good wear out of a peel-off base coat. And like I said, this is on the 5th day and I haven't lost any nails, which is a rarity. I mean, it's a convenient thing there. That one's really coming off nice. That is how all these should look. I mean, you can tell the difference in, I mean, if you get a peelie that pops off early and it looks like this, you can just stick it right back on your nail with a little bit more peel-off base coat or even with a little bit of regular polish. I haven't tried a lot of peel-off base coats, though, so I'm not, like, super an expert. I've only tried 2, well, 3 if you count my homemade Elmer's glue version, which was an interesting experiment, but not something that I'd want to use on a regular basis. But it does cut down on the polish remover usage. It doesn't get rid of it, because as you see, I've still got some residue here, and I'm definitely going to need to get rid of that. But it cuts down on it a lot, and a part of me really likes having the peelies after the fact, because, especially with a manicure like this, pictures just never quite capture it, and when I look back, it's like, oh, I remember that manicure. Yummy Rocks, hello. 1 or 2 days anyways. Yeah, I would say, you know, give it a try. It's not, you know, it's not the cheapest thing, but I would not say it's super expensive. The F.U.N, or however you are supposed to pronounce it, where are we here? Is usually like $10 to $12 on Amazon, and I've got a link in most of my Yummy Rocks. Thank you for the follow. I have a link in most of my videos to find it on Amazon, although it's not hard to find. If you just search Ready for Takeoff, you'll find it. The one that I tried from Madame Glam was a little bit more expensive, but Madame Glam usually has some pretty high percentage discount codes that you can use, so I would definitely recommend that. Sometimes it's like the most expensive places have the most amount of sales and discounts and stuff. I'm really good, Yummy Rocks. Thank you for asking. I've been having a really good week so far. Sanasima, hello. From Germany. Wow. It's so amazing. I'm sitting here in Minnesota and I've got people watching from so many different places. It's so awesome. Thank you guys for showing up. Even after last week's success, I was still kind of nervous since this is not my scheduled day and time. Megabutts, the thing with that is I did the very first time I used it, and then I realized I was using kind of too thick of a coat. It's got a different consistency than most base coats. And I found a thinner coat does usually work just fine. Of course, this is not a great example. This is not a very satisfying peel. But if you use a thin coat, it shouldn't take too long to dry. And you'll be able to see that because that's what I'm going to be using for the manicure that I'm going to do as soon as I get this crap off of here. Not that the manicure was crap, but just these little bits that are being stubborn about peeling are kind of crap. If you saw the tutorial for this manicure, which that is what I forgot. Now that I'm saying that, I remember that I have a command that is supposed to have a link for my current manicure, and it is outdated. It still has the full moon manicure linked there. But if you saw the tutorial for this design, I wasn't super happy with it when I finished. But it actually grew on me over the course of a couple days. It wasn't quite what I originally intended, but it was cool, and it gave me some ideas for some other manicures that I hope will turn out even better. And a lot of people really, really seem to like it, which is one of the reasons that I usually try not to, like, just complain about a finished manicure, because it's like, I don't know, I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, can't you ever say anything positive about yourself? But when I finished this, and part of it probably was also because it was quite late in the evening, I was just frustrated. It didn't turn out the way I envisioned, and that can be the most frustrating thing, even if the way that it actually turns out is perfectly fine. Yes, Sanasima, that happens all the time. Either because it's just time to do another manicure, or because it's been on so long that it starts chipping, or in the case of using peel-off base coat, you just start losing whole nails worth of polish, which, depending on where you are, it can be either funny or embarrassing, or, like, if you want to find that peely, all of a sudden you're standing wherever you are, looking all over on the floor for this peely of nail polish. I remember one time, I think it was with my DIY peel-off base coat, I lost one at work, and a coworker found it, and at first they were like, oh my god, I thought it was your whole entire nail. I was like, no, it's not that bad. So, like I said, these are not the greatest peelies. We got a couple that came out okay, but, usually they come off a lot cleaner than this. In fact, I actually have, over here, because, like I said, my room is super, super junky. If I get this out of the way here, I'm just gonna scoot this off to the side. These are the peelies from the the Manicure lava, and you can see how, like, neatly these came off. I mean, you could practically stick one of those right back on your nail. I rarely do that, except for when I'm still wearing the manicure. I've never, like, dug out all the peelies for an old manicure and put them back on. The Painted Dinosaur, hello! For 8 years, oh my god, that's almost like my entire online nail career. Get that out of the way. I've been on YouTube since late 2009, so yeah, you've been with me almost since the start. I'm glad you were able to join us today. The reason I kind of hesitate on scheduling my weekdays is because I don't always know when I'm going to be taking a manicure off. Like if this had started chipping or peeling several days ago, I probably would have taken it off several days ago. Or if it had not started to grow on me and I started to like it more, I probably would have taken it off several days ago. But it was wearing well and I was learning to like it, so I ended up wearing it most of the week. And these little extra bits just are not going to come off of here. So let me grab... I should have gotten that a little bit earlier. 1 minute. Well, now you're probably looking at my face through this camera. Get a little bit of cotton here. Hello, Star-Lore. It is going quite well today. I've been having an excellent week. And, the stream is going well so far. I've forgotten a couple things, as usual. I just got a little bit of regular nail polish remover, and I'm gonna take off the rest of this that's so stubborn. It's nice and warm here, but it's not in the 90s, so that's also a bonus. And, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these streams are a little bit more... Well, regular streaming is also nerve-wracking, but these are a little bit more nerve-wracking because I don't have anything to explain the whole time. So sometimes I feel like I run a little bit short of things to say, but it's still fun, even with that little bit of anxiety. How are all you guys' days going? All you guys' days. I don't know if that's a proper sentence. In Indiana, and it's 93. Oh my god. That's, I mean, I prefer summer over winter for sure, but once it gets into the 90s or even really the upper 80s, that's a little bit too much for my taste. Oh, what are we doing here? Oh, that's no problem, Starlord. That's the nice thing about YouTube, is whenever you have time, it's there for you. You know, when I really wasn't sure how well the streaming videos would be received on YouTube. Because they're so long, and I decided to, you know, upload the whole thing rather than break them into smaller pieces or just upload a highlight. But, you know, so many people have thanked me for making them available because they're not able to catch the live stream. And, you know, Twitch only keeps things for a couple weeks since I am not a partner. And even when you're a partner, they don't keep things indefinitely. Don't be anxious, you love watching me. Oh, thank you. It's hard. I mean, I feel like I deal with my anxiety fairly well most of the time. I mean, I don't let it impede me from doing what I want to do, but it's hard to just turn it off because it's so easy to think of all the things that could go wrong, and with streaming, that's even more things. Perfect 70 degree days, which you get 2 days a year. Yeah, well, and here in Minnesota, it's kind of weird because, well, for one thing, we get so cold in the winter, but then in the summer, the humidity is like, you know, it could go from low humidity and then, sure, low 80s is comfortable to super high humidity, and then low 80s is like horrible. Watch them while you're cleaning or doing your nails. I won't stop, Megabutts. Because and another part of me just, it's like, I don't want those videos to be gone or unavailable. So I also, of course, always have my local recording, but, I also, YouTube is how I discovered Twitch. Those of you who were here in my last stream, I kind of talked about how Darbian introduced me to Twitch. I don't even remember exactly how I stumbled across his videos. I stumbled across one of his, Super Mario World Record videos, and then watched a couple others that he had up on YouTube, and then I kind of noticed in his link sections Twitch, and I'm like, you know, I've heard of this Twitch thing before. What is the deal with this? And when I clicked through, he just happened to be live streaming. on that day, and I lurked heavily for a couple weeks because I didn't even have a Twitch account, and come across super professional. Oh my gosh, I'm like so not a professional, but thank you so much. I lurked for several weeks, and then I finally like made an account and said hello, and you know, he has a pretty busy chat, but he said hello back, and that was just like, wow, that's really cool. And that was the beginning of my Twitch fascination. It's like, as a kid, I always loved video games. And I'm not talking much, but you guys can see I'm just cleaning up that excess polish on my nails. They're pretty clean now, but this, kind of hard to get a good angle. This whole hand is in not super great shape. I keep breaking it while I'm gardening. So I think I'm going to file this middle nail just a little bit to shape it before we get started on the actual manicure. Anyway, as a kid, I was always like, I loved video games, but I didn't really have very many. I mean, you know, it wasn't like something where I had a whole library of video games to choose from. I was more the kid that had like the video game magazines and would see all these things that I really wanted, but knew realistically I was not going to have. And Twitch has kind of helped me regain that fascination with video games and with watching other people play and just kind of enjoying it. It's an entertainment. Some people don't get it, but I mean, you could probably say that about anything. Some people probably already don't understand nail art tutorials, so they're not going to understand a nail polish live stream, but I really, really appreciate all the support from you guys. A happy little accident, yeah. Oh, on the other camera, this is, did I say hello? Sakrista. This is Beanie. He is the best little boy, and he has been, yeah, I'm petting you. He has been very tolerant of being on camera, and he usually hangs out with me here when I'm on the computer, so I decided to hook him up with his own little camera since I had an extra one. Oh boy, so much chat. That's the one thing I feel like I'm still getting the balance between doing what I'm doing, talking without talking too much, and still interacting with chat. I have enough experience to be considered a professional. Thank you, Starlore. Yes, the cat command. I've been trying to add more commands as I think of other useful stuff. So like, if you want to know the weather where I am right now, you can type !weather. If you are in a different time zone, you can type !time to see my local time. Couple little useful things like that I've added since the last stream, and I've got one quote added, so now the quote command won't just be like a joke. Terrible at video games. The only ones you've ever been able to get through, Tetris or Duck Hunt. With the Gonna Kiss the TV. Tetris is one of my favorite games. I'm also a huge Dr. Mario fan. When I recently rediscovered my NES in my closet, I opened it up and it still had Dr. Mario inside of it. And I think if and when I do start with some video games, I would like to do some retro stuff. But the whole capture card thing is a little bit intimidating. And got a little bit of a catch here. I'm trying to file it without making the peel any worse. And I've been seeing this game lately. Seems like it's like the popular game of the moment. It's called Wario's Woods, which I never knew about as a kid, but is also another puzzle game. I'd love to try and get a copy of that and give that a try. And I could try to, like, you know, patch these little weird edges or build out the corner, but my whole right hand is so short right now that I'm just finding it easier to, if I break a little corner, to just file it down. I've been great on chat. Oh, thank you. Well, like I said, that's one of the things that to me really makes a good stream. Even in streams where I'm not a super active chatter, when the streamer is interacting with the chat, to me, it's more interesting. Dr. Mario is the pill one with the little dancing virus dudes and the pills. And, yeah, it's similar to Tetris, but then again, not, because it's like Tetris, in the last, I think it was the last Games Done Quick. Games Done Quick is a charity speedrunning marathon. It goes for about a week. There are 2 per year. And I think it was the last one that had a large block of Tetris games, including like a multi-way Tetris battle and a couple of different modes that I had never seen before. Like, okay, you think Tetris is hard? Imagine playing Tetris where all the blocks and everything you're trying to clear is invisible. So you have to remember everything that you've placed and what the blocks look like. And seeing somebody like play the game with invisible blocks was crazy. I was impressed. Oh, thank you, Sanasima. I hope I'm saying your name right. That's always a worry of mine. Maybe I'll just start calling you Sanny. Maybe. Or San. I don't know. I also don't want to give anybody horrible nicknames, though. Alright. This middle nail is looking a lot better. You can see, not quite so lopsided. Still not quite squared off. This middle nail and my index nail on my right hand, I seem to have the most trouble shaping. I think partly it's because it's my right hand. I think partly it's also because these are my 2 nails that curve the most. So, like, this inside corner wants to curve down, and the same here. So sometimes it's hard to get them to look square and even with my other nails. But it's not ideal, but it's better than it was. And this is just another quick manicure. I'll probably have this on till Saturday or Sunday, depending on when I record my tutorial video. You played that game to death as a kid. Destiny 2 and Battlefield 1. You know, I've heard of those. I'm not super familiar. I pronounced your name right. And Super Mario, I feel like at this point I've watched Darbian play so much that I should be good. But there's a huge difference, I feel like, between watching somebody play and playing yourself. Like, you see it and you see it and you see it, but at the same time, it's like you aren't building that muscle memory and you aren't building that connection in your own head. And I've never beaten Mario myself. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like I would, ask my brother to get me past World 1 so I could play a different world because I would just die too much, on my own to ever make it to a different world. Daggett, hello! Oh, excuse me. Thank you for joining us. We are cleaning up my nails here, filing and reshaping a little bit before we get to the painting. You already missed the peel porn, sadly. It's going well. It's going... Anytime I start streaming and then I get some people talking to me, it's going well, because this is like, I don't know, I guess my 6th stream. It's like, oh man, nobody's gonna show up this time. It was a fluke. It was just people were curious for the first couple, and now nobody's gonna show up, and people keep showing up, and it keeps being awesome. So, buffering. You know, if anyone else is having buffering, let me know. I mean, sometimes it's going to depend on your connection. I know yesterday I was watching some on my phone, and that always seems to buffer more than my computer. But I'm also on the low latency mode, which can increase buffering. So if it gets really super bad, I may go back to the old, I guess, normal latency mode. Since I'm not usually super on top of the comments anyway, as you guys know. But, I feel like the low latency mode for the most part is working pretty well. I see a lot of other streamers also switching to that. Watch these guys and girls play and think, I could do that, but nope. Yeah, it's my one fear. Like, I have a couple games that I've watched and I really do want to play, like Hollow Knight. And it's like, I hope I can manage to actually play it. Pronounced sunny. Have to go to bed though. Sorry, it's late here. Have a good weekend. Yeah, thank you for joining us, even if it was just for a little while. And, you know, I will, if you want to see, like I said, this will be up on YouTube later. And, oh, damn it, this is not... Okay, I'm officially slightly pissed off at my camera because this is not showing the full awesomeness of this polish. It's showing like maybe 60% of the awesomeness. Might have to do a polish in motion for this one, but that's what the rest of the stream is going to be, for anybody that was wondering. Still no video. Megabutts, you might want to, are you on mobile or are you on a computer? You might want to try refreshing or like, switching screens on your phone and going back in. Of course, if you have no video, can you even hear me? But maybe just one of those things will help it a little bit. I know, like I said, on my phone, I usually have more trouble than on my PC. Yeah, Hollow Knight is, the art style is so, I don't know if catchy is the right word to use on an art style, but I like it. The music is good. The little storyline is pretty good. The gameplay is good. Close the app and now we're good. Okay. Well, you know, I enjoy Twitch. I am a fan of Twitch. I am not a fan of the Twitch app. And I actually am not even on the current app because, well, I'm not sure what version it's on now, but a couple months ago it updated and every time I tried to watch a stream, it literally crashed. So I had to uninstall the whole thing from my phone and go find a website that had the previous version of the app and reinstall that to my phone. So I'm at least one, and at this point, possibly several versions behind on the app. Website or... See, now I almost said that out loud, and I have managed, I think, not to drop any F-bombs on stream so far. It's because I'm trying to be... I mean, I'm not against cursing, but I'm trying to have at least somewhat, what do I want to say? Somewhat, manners. And in case, I mean, I know I do have some younger fans. A lot of my fans have been with me so long that even if they started out young, at this point they're adults. But, you know, I don't want it. I would say I'm aiming for at least my stream to be PG-13, not R. You guys in chat can do whatever you want. But I just don't want it to be like, F this and F that and F everything and F this freaking manicure. Because it could easily go there, because that's one of my favorite words. All games are great, but your family is mainly Nintendo. Yeah, you know, I bought for my brother a Nintendo when I was a kid, and it didn't work very well. I don't know what happened to it, and I eventually replaced that. And then had a lot of exposure to like PlayStation and PlayStation 2. But if I were going to buy a modern console, like right now, I probably would be leaning toward the Switch. Just because of the games that I've gotten familiar as I've gotten back into them. And what I'm interested in playing. Like, I would love to do a playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Excuse me, I've seen most of the game, but that doesn't mean... It's like watching a favorite movie. Just because you've seen a movie doesn't mean you never want to see that movie again. Just because you've watched somebody play a game doesn't mean you don't want to play the game. F-bombs make you feel better. It's so true sometimes. You just gotta, like, let it out. Yeah, so, got them filed decently well. We've got the old polish all gone, mostly. And I'm just gonna clean them super well with acetone. I know not everybody is a fan of this. They're like, oh my god, you're gonna dry out your nails. That's bad for your nails, or, you know. But for me, it's what gets me a good, long-lasting manicure. And I've honestly been doing it since I had started my blog, just about, with minimal problems. When I get a nail break, it's usually because I've done something incredibly stupid or incredibly clumsy. So I'm going to keep doing it because it just makes sure that any possible little dirt or oil or anything is off of there. You can also use alcohol, although that can also be drying. Or you can just make sure to wash your hands really well, rinse your hands really well, and dry them off really well. Because, like, if you wash your hands and you think you've dried them off, but you immediately polish them, you can tend to have your polish lifting up or chipping really easily because your nails will absorb that water, and even if you wipe them dry, they may not be completely dry. Whereas the acetone, because of how fast it evaporates, your nail will be dry after you give it a swipe with that. Xbox for life. You know, I was never a huge fan of the Xbox controller. Okay, I apologize. Okay, I'm actually going to have to mute you guys for a minute because I want to answer this, so hold on just one sec. Okay, there's going to be another phone ring because they're going to call back and leave a message. But what I discovered with this phone is that you, as far as I could tell, I haven't actually found the manual. I can't permanently mute it. I can only mute it after it's already freaking ringing. Like, how dumb is that? And I hope, yeah, okay. For a minute I thought I was talking and had not unmuted myself. Senua's Sacrifice. That was such a good game, Daggett. I completely forget what I was talking about. Oh, polish remover, the acetone. Do I ever follow up with alcohol to really clean the nails? I usually don't because the acetone seems to really clean it. I mean, it gets off, and I'll use like one side of the Q-tip for one hand and then use the other side of the Q-tip for the other hand. And see, I see a little glitter there, and that's left over from that full moon manicure. It seems to clean it really well. I mean, the Q-tip has that little bit of cotton that can also kind of help pick stuff up. And because it evaporates so fast, your nails, even if your nails were maybe a slight bit damp prior from washing, they'll be dry by the time you finish with the acetone. And I feel like I was talking about something else too, and I've completely forgotten. And that's going to happen, and that's okay. I found that one way to minimize stress while streaming is to just go with the flow. Like, shit's gonna happen, and you kind of gotta accept that, or you're just really gonna end up super flustered and super stressed out. We'll talk amongst ourselves. Yeah, so I feel like there has to be a way to mute that phone permanently. I don't know what it is. But I really should try to find the manual. And actually, you know, I'm feeling really hot here. Hold on just a minute, you guys. I gotta get, like, a headband. Okay. It's like not hot enough to put on the AC, but it's definitely hot enough to need to get this hair off my neck, and I may end up looking a little bit silly, and that's also okay. Little bits of cotton all over your nails and finger after you take polish off. Yeah, it can depend, like, on what kind of cotton you use and on how particularly you use it. Like, usually if I use regular base coat, I'll probably pluck some pieces of cotton. I have like the industrial size salon roll, like a little bit smaller than this, soak it in polish remover, and then just like stick it on my nail and leave it there. And then with one firm pull, like pull the whole thing off. But there definitely can be little leftover bits sometimes, especially if you have any spots on your nail that are maybe a little bit catchy, or, you know, where there's a crack or a break or a peel. And I try to get in there with the Q-tip and pay attention and make sure to not leave anything behind. Because, I mean, the Q-tips have cotton on the tips, too. Put on the oonch, got sidetracked with something else, totally forgot, washed my hand, completely dissolved it. Yeah, you know, and it's also kind of sticky. Like if you put it on, like you said, and then go try to do something else, and then you look down, you've got like cat hair all over your nails. Turn on my air. No, it's not. Okay, so like I've got 2 thermometers in my room, and they actually both say the same temperature right now. It's 77 degrees in here, which is not particularly hot, but probably a little bit hotter just from nerves. But I don't necessarily want the air on. And plus, probably Beanie might leave me then too, because Beanie likes the heat, even with all his fur. And the noise, thankfully, I can get rid of most of the noise. Like right now, you guys probably should not be able to hear my fan, which is blowing on me because Jerry taught me how to use noise filters. Oh, you have to go, Liz? Thank you for stopping by. If you make it back, excellent. If you don't, you can always, of course, catch the VOD. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Sets the air conditioner at 66. Yeah, you know, my air conditioner, and I said the same thing last year, I feel like maybe I'll need to replace it next year because it's getting pretty old. It still puts out the cool air, but I mean, not like it used to. And I'm also probably using it for a bigger space than it's intended for. Like it's in my bedroom, but I don't actually close the bedroom door. So the cool air kind of goes through the whole upper level of the house, which I'm pretty sure is a lot more than it was intended to do. But 66, I would be freezing because, I mean, even when it's hot, I like to spend a little bit of time outside. So I'm going to be dressed in, you know, summer clothes, short skirt, something. I mean, not like too short because I'm old. Hello. But, you know, short skirt, sleeveless. So I don't want to come inside and be like catching a cold or getting a neck cramp from cold air blowing on it. I'm going to move on to the base coat now. Like I was talking about earlier, we've got the ready for takeoff here. And I try to do a fairly thin coat. Do we want to get a little, let's get like 1 click closer here. 2 clicks. There. Now I just have to make sure that I stay in frame because, you know, whatever. Thanks for the treadmill company. Oh, no problem, Jackie. I mean, power to you for getting on the treadmill. I have been trying to, get back into some kind of something for like months, if not like years. I used to do yoga and I actually enjoyed it a lot, but my room right now is such a disaster area. It's like I don't have room to actually, you know, stretch out in all the different yoga positions. And I thought I would get a chance to start walking again once it got nice, but it went like immediately from winter to way too hot to be walking around. You always have a blanket on. Perfect. Oh, the camera angle. Good. And also, you know, we've had quite a few poor air quality days here. And I think I've mentioned before, I do have asthma. So when there's that poor or moderate air quality rating, I really do try to stay in the house, or if I go out, not do anything that's too much exertion, because even just regular activity can leave me kind of a little bit short of breath in those conditions, or end up with a headache, which is, you know, no fun. I do have a stationary bike inside, and I've managed not to let it turn into a clothes hanger, but I haven't been on it in quite a while. So you can kind of see it looks really very shiny. What I want to say here, when it's dry it gets slightly less shiny. And I try to just keep a really thin coat. So I'll do my other hand, and then you'll be able to see when I switch back how long it takes for this to dry. I'm certain you're not as old as me, so shush, you do yoga too. Well, I don't know, Jackie. How old are you? How old does everybody think I am? I would like to know. Just type your guess in the chat. And I'm not going to keep you in suspense. I'm kind of curious because some days I swear I feel like an old lady. And then somebody will say something and I'm like, "Wait a minute, do you think I'm young?" Like, I'm old enough that that's a compliment at this point. So, I'm always curious, like, you're drinking a beer. 33, 35, 40. Well, okay, you are older than me, Jackie, but only by about 3 years. My birthday is next month, and I will be 37. So, I don't know. I know when I call myself an old lady, I'm usually joking. I'm fully aware that's not that old, but certainly not as young as I used to be. I mean, I've got friends with grandchildren. Oh my God. Like, that's a trip. Of course, I'm talking, I can only imagine what a trip it is for them. And of course, I never let them live it down. I'm like, "Hi, Grandma, how you doing?" They're like, "Shut up. I'm younger than you." I'm like, "No, you're not, because you got kids and grandkids. You are automatically older than me." So, there we go. We've got our right hand. 14 Daggett. 46. Now that's old. Other people to me are not old unless you're at least older than my parents, so you are not old, Starlore. My dad's birthday is actually today. Fun fact, he's turning 66. Just turned 30 and made the mistake of saying, "Oh, I'm still in my 20s, sad day." Yeah, it's like when you realize, you're like, "Oh, I'm not." So, like, you could see on the pinky here, well, I don't know if you could see. Maybe if I stick. Can you guys see the difference between this pinky and this index finger? How, it's not quite as shiny. It's because the pinky is just about dry, and the index nail is one of the more recent ones I did, so it's still a lot wetter. So that's to kind of, I've already forgotten too. I'm so old I'm losing my memory. Who asked how long the Ready for Takeoff takes to dry? And the answer is really not very long. Usually by the time I'm finishing my right hand, my left hand is just about ready to paint. I might give it like a couple more minutes just to really be on the safe side. Just turned 33 on Monday. Happy belated birthday, Painted Dinosaur. Happy birthday, Colette's dad. Yeah, I already know that he'll want to go to Red Lobster for his birthday dinner because, as far as he's concerned, that is the only restaurant that you go to celebrate anything. So, like I mentioned, I am super unhappy with how this is showing on camera. I wonder... I know it's very little, but if I kind of put it in front of this camera, I feel like that's a more accurate look of how turquoise it is. I wonder how it looks on Beanie's camera. Yeah, that's a much better look. Okay, the other benefits of having multiple cameras. I mean, compare that to how it's showing here. I feel like it's really reflecting off a lot of the glitter in this one, and that's probably thanks to the ring light. But the overall color is a lot more like this tone. Cheddar Bay biscuits. Dude, those are... I mean, they're... something about them. They're very similar, and actually the mix they sell in the stores is nearly just as good. But I don't know. We've got a couple different Red Lobsters by us, and the last time we went, the service was so poor, and we had to wait, and it wasn't even busy in there. And I was like, we are never going back to that Red Lobster again, until my mom told me that they never charged her credit card. So we got like a $90 dinner between the three of us for free. And I said, well, maybe we can go back there again if they want to continue feeding us for free. Like a Jelly Hollow. Yes. And I was going to show you guys the box, although that probably doesn't show super great under the ring light either. Yeah, okay, this just looks like a plain black box. Can we, nope, you can't see it here either. Oh, I'm so sad. I wanted to show you guys. This box is holographic. It's a holographic black nail polish box. And kind of last time we were doing a manicure, I was also talking about how cool. There you can very faintly see the rainbow. I was talking about cool boxes, and the F.U.N lacquer boxes are another on my list of super nice boxes. The F.U.N stands for fabulously unique nail, and then lacquer. So you got F.U.N lacquer. And it is, I forget exactly, I think the description on the website says something like 100% color shifting glitter in a jelly base. And I'm not quite sure, again, how this is going to apply, how many coats I'm going to need. We're just going to see as we go, I guess. Yeah, I hope it doesn't need too many coats. We'll see though. Get started here. I mean, if necessary, I could break out a sponge. I think it might just be another case though of doing careful and somewhat thick coats. Oh, that is very pretty. I like it on the nail. It's just not, I feel like it's looking very dark on camera, and it's really very bright. But F.U.N from out of the country. You know, let's see. I've actually got my package right here. Singapore. Yes. I'm trying to remember if I might have even actually had to pay for shipping, which is one of my least favorite things. But I actually got this quite a while ago. This is one of the hauls that is still sitting around in the bag that it came in because it hasn't made its way onto my spreadsheet yet. Yeah, I may... We'll see how the second coat transforms this, or if I decide I do need to go in with a sponge. I'm thinking I'll just be able to get away with some thick coats, because even there, that's like, sometimes I'll do a coat, and then before I even move on to the next nail, like dab in a little bit more polish. I mean, generally, I try to discourage thick coats, but with colors that are jellies or sheers or glitters, sometimes it's necessary. You never knew what it stood for. Was the shipping outrageous? You know, do I still have... I don't have the packing slip in there. It can't have been too outrageous, because if it was, I wouldn't have purchased it. Because I always feel like I should never have to pay for shipping, even though I know that's a little bit absurd. Deep blue on your screen. Yeah, the name of this, I don't even know if I said the name, is Northern Lights. And if you've ever seen a picture of the Northern Lights and they're like going across the sky and they're all green and blue and gold and like awesome, this is exactly that in nail polish form. And a little bit goofy. One of these days we're going to do a nail polish and chill where I haven't picked somewhat of a goofy sheer color to paint on my nails. From the polish pickup. You know, I haven't. I've heard of them. Are they the ones that do like a monthly box? Of course, they're probably not the only monthly nail polish box. But I have never gotten one of those yet. I wish, if I were rich, I would probably buy every single nail polish I ever saw, just to have it, just to collect it as part of my addiction here. Yeah, it's so weird the way the color is so different between the different cameras. Oh well. And would be different again if I actually hooked up my regular camera. You know, after our last stream where I was having kind of trouble getting a really good close view, I started looking around at different options. I think I mentioned like looking at iPhone camera lenses, and I was also looking at ways to hook up my normal camera, the camera that I record my tutorials on, as a webcam. And some of the solutions seemed really easy, and some of the solutions seemed kind of hard, and all of them had multiple options. So that may eventually happen. I also may stick with the webcam, but with another slightly different setup. What we are doing today, I sacrificed a little bit of the stability to get in a little bit closer. Right here, again, like right barely out of frame, is like a flexi tube clamp that's clamped onto my desk, and then the webcam is attached to it. So with that, I was able to actually drop the webcam down slightly below the ring light. And actually, so far, I think it's doing pretty well. I don't feel like it's shaking a ton. I mean, it's not 100% stable, but I feel like it's almost impossible to get cameras to be like 100% stable. Remember since October, fabulous. Bunch of different indie makers. You know, I think one of the reasons I've heard of it is I'm fairly sure, hasn't Colors by Leroux done a couple of polish pickup colors? I still really like them, even though I haven't purchased from them since they changed from selling directly to just having another stockist. And I know a lot of the colors, if not possibly all of them, they're like limited edition, which limited edition to me is just like, buy me now! Because, like, if you don't get it, you won't be able to get it. And it's like, sometimes I won't even like the color, but I'm like, but what if I change my mind? And later I find a use for that color, and then I can't get that color. Which, I mean, even to myself, that sounds absurd and kind of like you know, an excuse. Like, why, if you don't like it, do you want it? And I think it's just that whole limited edition thing, like wanting to have it because eventually you might not be able to have it. So I'm going to give this, well, actually the pinky's already pretty dry. I think I can already start on the second coat here on my other hand. Got one this month. Yeah, the polish that 1 month and then gone forever. Kind of like Leroux's Color of the Month, or Polish of the Month, which is what initially got me started buying with them. And then I was so sad that I had missed the previous months that I tracked down most of them on one of their stockists. I think it was from Hypnotic Polish, and I was able to stock up on all the ones that I had missed. That's pretty good. I think we're getting pretty good coverage out of this. I am not going to bust out a sponge. Yes, so much FOMO. Which sometimes FOMO is also like a thing on Twitch. It's like, oh man, I need to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to miss anything. And then it's like, that's when I get out my cell phone and use the app just so I don't miss anything while I'm running to the bathroom. For those of you who maybe don't know, the sponge technique is when you're dealing with a glitter polish that's like suspended in a clear or jelly base. Sometimes it can be really hard to build it up to full opacity. Like this one is doing really good. Like even on the second coat, I probably could get away with just 2 coats of this if I wanted to lazy out. I'm going to do 3, but 2, I don't think 2 would be bad at all. Yeah, a little bit hard to see there. Sometimes I still think I'm like, I need to change my camera setup. Boy, Beanie is really sprawled out there, isn't he? So if you have a glitter that's really very sparse in the clear or jelly base, if you get a sponge, the sponge will soak up the jelly base and allow you to just sponge only the glitter onto your nail and get a lot faster coverage than having to do like maybe 4 or 5 coats of a polish. 3 coats is just about my limit of how far I'm willing to go with multiple coats of polish. That is a gorgeous, that finger paint's one that I'm not going to try to say. I did a video on that. I think I used that for one of my Madame Glam peel-off tests. It's like a super gorgeous, chunky duochrome glitter. Oh, so pretty. And glitters can also be somewhat kind of hard to clean up with the cleanup brush. So if I'm getting like big goobers on the side here, I'm just using my orange stick for its original intention of cleaning up around the edges. I'll probably still touch up just a bit with my brush. Have I tried... Oh wait, I'm missing all kinds of chat. I'm sorry. You're nervous to buy indies because I'll know you know you'll go down the rabbit hole. That is my problem. It's like plus when you buy something, if there's free shipping offered, you're like, well, I have to get enough to get free shipping. Oh, I already did my thumb. Which is what happened to me with F.U.N and with the ILNPs that I showed last week. Illyrian. Everything on their websites. I haven't. I think I've heard of them. I mean, Instagram is really good for taunting you with swatches of gorgeous polish. Like crack. Nail polish crack. That'd probably actually be a good polish name. But anytime I start with a new brand, it's really difficult to not, go overboard. But at the same time, it's like, hello, have you heard of the word budget? And that's in the last few months about everything. Once you start, it makes all your creams look like garbage. Gotta go for a bit for a haircut. Thank you for stopping by while you could, Krista. I never know what to say when people are gone. It's like, I'm a little bit sad to see you go, but at the same time, like, I don't want you to stop your life just because I'm streaming, so I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you don't make it back, of course, you can always check out the VOD or the YouTube video. LNP gets you every time. Flakies from... I feel like I can't pronounce that word the way I even want to pronounce it. It's like my brain is telling my tongue to do something it doesn't understand how to do. I always, when you talk about flakies, the first brand that actually comes to mind is one that I never did go down that rabbit hole, as you guys said. It's called F.U.N. I'm not sure if it's around very much anymore, but when I very first started blogging, it was one of the new brands that I was introduced to, and I remember seeing their flakies and their hollows for that matter and thinking, man, one day I'm going to buy a crap load of those. But they're on the expensive side, and I never did get around to buying any. I'm pronouncing it correctly? Oh, good. I don't know why that's such a worry of mine. It's like, oh no, I'm mispronouncing it. Like, mispronouncing something is not a big deal. Like, some people want it to be a big deal, but it's really not a big deal. And I think even a lot of, words that are possibly more common, like if you're a reader, you are more likely to mispronounce something if you've only ever read it and not heard the word in real life. Which is actually one of the reasons that got me from hating ebooks. Like, I used to just think ebooks were not the dumbest thing ever, but just like, you ebooks can't possibly stand up to a real book. But having, being able to just like press a word and get the dictionary definition from it and the pronunciation right, without even having to basically stop what you're doing is so convenient. Old Greg. Oh, you're back, Liz. Welcome back. Let's see here. Okay. If I click here, what we got? Oh, that's so pretty. It reminds me of like, who's that artist that does kind of like almost like a dottilism with paint? I can't even think of the correct name, but like I've seen, well, I guess probably it's the one that the finger paints one is named after. The Dauvigny. I'm not going to try again. I could sit here all day and fumble mouth the same word. Baileys from a shoe? Creamy base Baileys from a shoe. It's your downstairs mix-up. Is that like a challenge, or is that like a real thing? Drinking Baileys from a shoe? I seem to remember seeing on Tonight Show. Somebody drinking beer out of a shoe. Is that like the same kind of a challenge? Your downstairs mix up. Kindle. Yeah, I don't have an actual Kindle, Jackie, but I have the Kindle app just on my regular phone. And it's so convenient because my library has like a whole... Oh, they're a digital library, which you can just go on overdrive and, you know, you think, oh, I'd like to read this book. And you go, and I mean, it's not always available. They have limited digital copies. But usually, unless it's a brand new thing, you can get it right away. And old Greg on YouTube is drinking Bailey's from a shoe. Yeah, the app. Yeah, I never understood like why. I mean, I get it's bigger, but why would you want just a Kindle as opposed to like a more fully functioning tablet? Or is a Kindle a fully functioning tablet? Maybe that's it. The video. Oh my. I'm gonna click it, but well, I was gonna say I'm gonna watch it later. I should have muted my desktop audio before I clicked it. But I wanna have it up there because otherwise the chat will scroll it away from me. I'm gonna get started on the third coat here. Excuse me. Actually, let me get a drink before I get started here. And the first coat was kind of just to start off. The second coat was on the thicker side. And the third coat is kind of just to even everything out. It's not... You know, it actually doesn't look too bad on camera, but in person, I can see a little bit of that visible nail line that I was talking about before. So the third coat is just going to be to kind of touch it up, smooth it out, make sure everything's nice and fully opaque. Then we'll do just a little bit of cleanup, and then we'll do top coat, and we'll be done. This is such a pretty color. And I had a couple other polishes in this F.U.N. lacquer haul, and I always feel a little bit bad when it's like, I see a polish, I like it so much that it inspires a haul, and then it takes so long for the haul to get to me that by the time I receive it, I've been distracted in another direction and I don't immediately use the polishes that I purchased. And that's kind of what happened with these. I was triggered, well, not that kind of triggered, but I bought all these F.U.N. polishes because they had their duochrome magnetics that really caught my eye. And I was like, oh, I have to have those. I have to have them. And then, since then, have not worn them yet. I almost wore one of the magnetic polishes today, but then I decided to go with this, because I almost wore this last week during the pop-up stream, but since I was using a regular base coat, I didn't want to deal with soaking off glitter, and so now we get to really... What? What do you hear, Benny? Handsome. And you can't really see the full color shift. I'm definitely, you guys, gonna need a polish in motion for this. If I kind of, you know, let's whoa. I mean, just compare the difference in color between those two. In real life, it's somewhere between those two colors. That's my other lamp. My lighting setup here is completely like cobbled together, just to make sure that I'm fairly well lit. No luck with magnetic polishes. Jerry, hello. Thank you for joining us. Paper like Kindle screen is easier on the eyes for extended reading sessions. Cool. Frankamoose. You've either been very quiet or I have not said hello to you. So in either case, hello, and thank you for joining us. I I can see how that would be if you were really reading an extended, and sometimes I do that. It's like I'll not read for weeks or months, and then I'll get a book that I can't put down. I usually, in the regular Kindle, they have a setting that'll put it, instead of just a white background, it'll put it sepia tone, and then I'll just put the backlight on my phone down pretty far so that it's not like glaring at me, and that's usually pretty good so that I don't get too much eye strain. So, just going to finish off this third coat on the right hand now. Oops. Almost like didn't get that back in the bottle because I was trying to look at chat at the same time I'm putting the brush in the bottle. 12 polishes, the top coat, and 6 non-polish items. I actually, speaking of getting goodies in the mail, I actually got kind of a promo box in the mail yesterday from Sally Hansen. And they had let me know that they were, you know, sending stuff out. And I try not to get too excited for that stuff because I've had other times where it's like, oh, we're going to be sending you something. And then it never comes. And this time I was glad I didn't get my hopes up because what they sent me was kind of really boring. It was a bunch of their Miracle Gel polishes, which is my least favorite line from them. And it was like a top coat and a dark pink and 2 light pinks. Like the most boring colors ever. And then they included some of their new nail guards, which I guess are a good idea, but it seems more like a money grab from companies because they're disposable and you don't even get that many in a package. The Crayola ones. I wish the Crayola ones. I actually have very few Insta-Dry polishes, but I've always wanted to expand my Insta-Dry collection because most people say that most of them are really good as stamping polishes, and there's such a wide color variety that I feel like they would be good to have on hand. Even though I don't do as much stamping as I used to, but I would like to get back into doing some more stamping. That was really quite messy. Lurking, or not so much. Either way is fine. Lurkers make the world go round. I appreciate when you guys chat, but there's no expectation, no pressure or anything. You can feel free to lurk also. Whenever I get around to having some emotes and stuff, I would love to include a lurk emote because, like I said, that's my most common mode. Even in chats where I'm, you know, quote unquote active, I'm much more likely to be lurking. Either because I just don't have anything to say, or because I'm not, you know, sitting right in front of my keyboard. I might be cleaning my room, or just like kicking back and watching from bed. I have a Chromecast, so I can cast my PC screen to my TV, and that comes super in handy with Twitch. But then I'm like, you know, nowhere near my keyboard and honestly liable to fall asleep half the time. I'm gonna have to check out that video after stream. Listening, lurking while working. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you need or what you want at the time. And like, I don't have any expectations because when I'm watching, I know how my behavior is. You know, you're not doing this exclusively. You're not doing this in a vacuum. You might get a phone call. You might need a potty break. You might need to cook dinner or let the dog outside or do any of 1,000 different things. And that's perfectly fine. Whatever level of attention you wish to give me, I will appreciate and be flattered by. Lurking while feeding your face. I'm starting to get hungry myself. I don't usually eat actually until much later, but the past couple days it's like I've been getting hungry around 5 o'clock. Yeah, and it's 10 to 5 right now. I think part of it is that for a while I was drinking 2 cups of tea a day, which, I mean, tea is not food, but it's something in your stomach. and, you know, with a goodly amount of sugar and cream, could count as a decent snack. And today I've only had 1 cup of tea, so my tummy is getting a little bit empty. The mighty boosh. See, now I'm like out of the loop. Everyone is so cool here. I agree. My viewers, my community is... Oh, no. Oh, well, I don't need it anymore. My community is an awesome community. And I already knew that from, you know, the comments that I get on YouTube videos. But I feel like this is really, like, even more community building, even more of me being able to talk to you guys and interact with you guys, and you guys getting to know each other, too. Dang it, maybe I do need it. I always hate when I drop something on the floor while my nails are not quite dry, because it's like I don't want carpet fibers all over my nail stuck in the wet polish. So I do want to just try and make sure we don't have too many weirdo random glitters hanging around the edges here. Got to not too messy. You know, I'm a very messy painter usually, but I try to be mindful when I know I'm using a polish that's really difficult to clean up, like a glitter. Because it's like the glitters just want to stick on your skin. Another color that can be really hard for cleaning up is black or red or dark blues or crap. Actually, lots of colors can be really hard to clean up. So positive here. Yes, that's what I want and what I kind of need. It's like, I don't want this to be like, oh, streaming. I want this to be like, yes, streaming, and like, you know, spread the love and spread the happiness. And hello, my channel, my YouTube channel is My Simple Little Pleasures. The whole point in having a manicure is that it makes you happy. And, you know, maybe some people don't get that, but for me, I mean, I can literally feel my mood lift when I can look down and see something beautiful on my nails. On the menu for this weekend stream. Well, I'm still deciding. You know, last weekend's stream was intended to be a water marble testing stream, and that really didn't work out. And I was pleased with how it actually went. I've actually been wanting one of my testing streams to go kind of poorly so that I could do some troubleshooting. But that one went so poorly that we kind of moved fully away from water marbling. And so part of me was like, well, maybe we should do some more water marbling this weekend. But I also, although the crisscross design did grow on me over the couple days that I wore it, I kind of want to revisit that with some different colors and a slightly different, like, pattern. So it may be water marbling, it may be version 2 crisscross testing, or it might be something else altogether. So long answer to say, I don't know what's on tap for this weekend yet. I'm sorry. Something nail polish related and something tutorial related, because I need a tutorial to put up on YouTube, because I know as much support as I've had for, you know, the longer form content and the streams, I know that's not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want to completely get away from doing my short form tutorials either, because even people that like the longer streams, I'm sure still from time to time, maybe you just want some little quick 10-minute entertainment. And aside from the fact that half the time it's like I need to be able to actually show stuff better than the webcam is showing it. I never did finish talking about that. The one solution that stood out to me for using my regular camera as a webcam was to just plug it into a capture card. which is a pretty easy solution, except I do not currently have a capture card, and I have not decided which capture card I'm going to go with yet. Goodness. Should be an old Greg pick. Oh, you can't drink tea. Oh, that makes me so sad, Starlore. I love tea, because I'm not a coffee man. I'm not a coffee drinker. The old Greg pick. See, now I really do have to go and look. I had my vague idea for a lurk emote was like the word lurk with like a globe, because I always say that lurkers make the world go round. In any stream you go to, well, most streams you go to, there's going to be way more people lurking than there are chatting. For many reasons. I mean, sometimes people are even maybe watching at work where they only can listen or they only can watch and they don't have a chance to interact with chat because they're supposed to be working. Or maybe people are just shy, or maybe they don't have anything to say. A day off, least enough to do your nails. Yes, call in sick to work and say, you know, I just have to get my manicure back in good health. Only patience to do your nails on the weekend. Rocking some jellyfish drag marble nails right now. Oh, I bet that's cool. Drag marble is like perfect for doing jellyfish. Doing some cool nail art and being lazy and doing the basic mani. Yeah, and me, sometimes it's like, if I hadn't decided to stream this, it's like streaming is actually getting me to do my nails more often, instead of previously when a peel-off base coat would kind of give way and I'd start losing nails, I'd take it off and I'd be like, oh, I'll paint my nails today or tomorrow or something, and then before I know it, I've procrastinated and it's the weekend and my nails have been naked for 3 or 4 days and I've managed to break a couple. I almost always get my breaks when my nails are naked, because nail polish, I mean, in addition to protecting your nails and as drying as the acetone and stuff may be, once you get the polish on, it actually helps your nails to retain their moisture, because it helps keep them from contact with, like if you work in an office and have a lot of paper, that will suck the moisture right out of your skin, right out of your nails. And so hopefully by now keeping my nails polished on a more regular basis, I can get away from all those breaks. I actually don't have any patches right now. Knock on wood. I would like that to continue, because this is the first time in quite a long time that I haven't had any patches. Okay, let's see. Doing some cool nail. The picture. Oh, let's see. Oh, cool! Those are so cool. I love them. I'm gonna follow you, except I'm not logged in on Chrome right now. Okay, so I'll save that tab also for later. Don't have the struggle. You always want to do something very complicated but don't have the time. I've also run into that. Like, for those of you that have seen my staggered gradients, I feel like that's a really awesome technique. It's one of the only techniques that I feel like I can claim ownership of creating. But first you have to pick the colors, probably do some testing, then, you gotta, do the whole gradient, let it dry, cut up all these little strips, and then the actual placement of the strips. It's a huge time commitment, and, decals and those type of things are so picky, you can't really do it too far ahead. So, yes, Megabutts, that is going to happen as soon as, well, I say soon. I have 3 things that I want to do before I start swatching my collection. I want to get all the polish that I currently have on my spreadsheet. So stuff like this F.U.N. lacquer haul that I purchased and never got on there. I've got many situations like that. I want to get my new Helmers assembled so that all these polishes that are on my spreadsheet have a home to go to, and I want to get some glass cabochons that are going to go on the top of the nail polish bottles, And then I'm going to have a swatch stick and a cabochon. The swatch sticks will all live together and the cabochon will go on the top of the bottle. So when you open up a drawer, you're just going to see this awesome, shiny forest of nail polish cabochons, and it'll be easier to find the colors that I want to find. Yes, I have seen those, the little rings. And there was also a company that had a little thing. It was kind of very similar to the cabochons, except that it came in a rubber cap that fit over the cap. But they were so expensive. And I'm not sure what the cost of the rings are either. Or if those would even fit on all the bottles. But, I mean, my collection is up at about 3,000 bottles of polish right now. Probably over that, honestly. So I need a cheap solution. So, and one that, like I said, like the rings, where are we here? So the rings would go and the cabochon would be like on the side here. Putting them on the top will make them easier to sort through in the drawers, since I keep pretty much everything in the drawers because I don't have enough wall space to display everything. Where are we here? I'm quite a ways behind in chat. I'm catching up, you guys. Oil. Definitely. And I usually do, if I do keep my nails like unmanicured for several days, I usually just like oil them even more than usual. Always oil my nails, I'd say at least once a day, but that's another thing that you have to be careful not to overdo with the peel off base coat, because you'll be rubbing in your oil and then all of a sudden you're rubbing your polish right off your nail and you're holding the peely. Swatching seems fun to watch. You know, I think like these kind of nail polish and chill while I just do my manicure have reinforced that I will stream the swatching, because I mean, you guys are showing up and we're having awesome conversations and it's working so well. I mean, it's fun. I don't know. A lot of people will be like, you're watching someone paint their nails. How is that fun? But I can totally get behind it. Oh, Beanie is about to leave us, I do believe. You can see him. He hears his pudge being made. Hello, Nikki. Thank you for joining us. To do a design on your nails instead of just having a basic manicure. Oh, I'm so glad I could inspire you. That's so... I love hearing that. That is one of my absolute favorite things to hear. Ooh. On a little white label and then use a little hole puncher. That's a little cool idea for a smaller collection. Like I said, my collection is so huge, I feel like I need to have a really good solution and a really good plan before I get started with everything. 7 for 100 rings. That's not too bad, actually. So, of course, that means that would be 70 for 1,000, and so that would be 210 for 3,000. Then it starts seeming not quite so cheap. The other ones that I saw were almost like $1 a piece, and that was 100% out. So that is definitely a more realistic price, but it's still, of course, almost anything at this point is going to be on the spendy side. Yeah, you like having yours on a shelf so you don't buy the same colors. I have a surprisingly good memory for which colors I want, but that's also why I have the spreadsheet. And usually I will update it to Google Docs also, so I can access it from my phone when I'm out shopping. If I'm ever like completely confused. Love you some swatching. That's so great. That's so like, it's like hanging out with like-minded people and not people that are looking at you like, how are you talking about nail polish for hours? Like, duh, how can you not talk about nail polish for hours? The snup sap or the pincher sap to take pics. Yeah, you know, they reached out to me like when it was first coming out, and I thought about it, but I really like it. It's kind of like the statistics geeky part of me. I really like my spreadsheet. Plus, because I mean, like the Snups thing has like pictures, but as we've just learned, well, not just, I've known that not all nail polish photograph well, like when I started blogging. Beanie must not be hungry. I'm kind of surprised he stayed. What you see and what you get are not always the same. So the whole idea with taking pictures of everything doesn't completely appeal to me. Plus, like, on my spreadsheet, like, ideally, anytime I think of something else I want to track, I'll just add another column. And, you know, I also, it's another thing with the swatching that I haven't decided, I may print out labels for my swatch sticks, and in that case, I'll be able to pull the names and the brand right out of my spreadsheet and stick that into like a mail merge in Word or whatever and get the labels printed right from there. Hello, Barbie. We are actually just finishing up this new manicure. Well, if I ever would catch up with chat and quit talking. This is 3 fresh layers of F.U.N. Lacquer Northern Lights. And we had a little bit of peel porn at the beginning of the stream while I took off the ILNP crisscross. Was not very satisfying peel porn, unfortunately. But that manicure grew on me quite a bit, and it wore really well for 5 days. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go. Maybe he didn't quite hear his bowl. I heard it. 400, you don't want to take all those pictures, yeah. Nails and polish all day long. I agree, Painted Dinosaur. Yeah, Liz, I wish so hard that I had started sooner. Sometimes I feel like when you delay on something because it's a huge project and then it just becomes an even huger project and then you become even like less likely to do it. Like that's kind of what happened with my blog. It was like I got behind and then it's like, oh man, how am I ever going to catch up? It's also what happened on Instagram. It's like I fell behind posting. I think it was around the time I went out of town and still have not really gotten back into that flow of posting on Instagram. I posted a couple pictures recently, but I really need to just kind of bite the bullet, say it's not going to be perfect. Maybe I'm not going to post all my old manicures that were in between here. But yeah, that's what happened with the swatching project. And the bigger it gets, the more intimidating it gets, but also the more I want to do it because the more difficult it is to kind of wade through my entire collection looking for a suitable polish. Yeah, full collections. Something about having the whole collection, we were kind of talking about that earlier too, especially with like limited edition stuff and you get that FOMO of what if I want it later and it's not available. Labels on your stick. Yeah, and I'm not sure if I want to do like computer printed labels or if I actually want to get one of those little cute label makers. I'm 90% sure I will not be handwriting stuff on there. I'm just not sure what kind of labels I want. And also, like the swatch sticks are flat, so you've got 2 sides. So I was like, well, could I get a label that on one side I could have the brand and the name and then fold the label over and on the other side I could have like the collection that the polish is from or some other useful information, or is that taking it too far and like way too much information on the swatch stick? I mean, talk about like making things more complicated than necessary. I thought, well, I could take the swatch sticks, make a little white and a little black, and then every color I swatch, I could see how it stamps and stamp over that white and black as an example. And the more I was thinking about that, I was like, that would probably double or triple the amount of time that it would take to get through all these swatches when it's already a huge project to begin with. How do I have my spreadsheet organized? Like right now, it's very kind of jumbled. Generally, I will sort it by brand and then by polish name, or sometimes by brand and then collection and then polish name. But I also have, like when I'm adding polishes, I just add them to the bottom and I don't always necessarily resort to get them to all go where they're supposed to go. I also have like a column for the date. I also have a column for the color, although with certain polishes that's harder to define, especially when you get into duochromes and stuff. I have a column for what finish the polish is, and sometimes it does come in handy. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have a shimmery red Zoya? And I can turn on the filters, and you can filter by any of those columns too. And, you know, every time I think of something else, well, do these have effects? So there's like magnetic effects or stuff like that. I'll stick in another column and another data point that I can filter by or sort by. I'm gonna start painting here. Of course, if I'm painting, I can't be reading. Not as handy because your polish is on shelves. So just look at your shelves when you're trying to decide what to wear. Yeah, well, one of the things with the swatch sticks is, in addition to having them in drawers, and of course, you guys, you know, I'm using Seche Vite. I was thinking about using Vive, but now I've already started and I'm not even sure where my Vive is. When I reorganize my whole stash, I've pretty much decided that I'm going to do it by brand. And then I would like to sort all the swatch sticks by color. I think that would help me to really be able to find whatever I'm looking for, because a lot of times I'm looking for a specific polish and I know what it's called and I know what the brand is, but other times I am looking for a specific color. So it can get a little bit tricky deciding which way you want to sort your whole collection. Pretty cheap label makers on Amazon. Yeah, I've looked at a couple of them, but that's another thing. It's like, well, how many rolls of label making stuff am I going to have to buy? Like, am I just making this another unnecessary expense? Like, I don't want it to be a super expensive project. Thankfully, I already have most of the swatch sticks I would need. I bought them a really long time ago. I know I'm going to need more because my collection has grown so much since then. And I am doing a really thick layer of Seche Vite just because this is slightly gritty since it's a glitter. And in addition to capping the tip, I try to cap a little bit along the sides because I found that helps with the peel off base coat. The tip and the sides is where I get the majority of my lifting. Every now and then it'll lift at the cuticle, especially like if I'm trying to do something and dealing with my hair and you get a hair that like sneaks in there at the cuticle and goes under the polish. But capping the tips has helped me in many cases extend how long I can wear it with the peel off base coats. What if I need that color later? Yeah, exactly. Well, and sometimes it's like, I mean, you would think with 3,000 balls polish, I should have everything that I want. And I think it's when I did the Goodwill Halloween faces. Oh, Beanie did ditch out. It was like I was looking for like a specific, very light brown cream, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, how do I not have this color? This would be perfect, and now I have to use a color that's not perfect. Like, freaking first world problems, right? You want all the polish for painting your nails. Yeah, you know, I do too, but on the other hand, I'm like, okay, realistically, most nail polish, right now, I could probably polish my nails a different color for the rest of my life and not use up anything. But every now and then, I do actually use up a bottle. Because it's just that perfect of a color, like that Sally Hansen Babe Blue. It's the perfect baby blue. You color match the color with something in OPI. I like OPI quite a bit. I don't think I've bought much recently. But like OPI and China Glaze were a couple of the first like salon brands that I really got familiar with when I started blogging. It was like I had been in Sally's for like hair stuff, but I somehow had never noticed their nail polish wall. And when I started blogging and I was reading about this China Glaze brand and you can get it at Sally's and I went in there, I was like, oh my God, how did I never notice this before when I'm in here for like, you know, a shower cap? I always buy my shower caps at Sally's because the ones they sell at Target are too small for my big old head. Yeah, it's rare Megabutts. I've gone through a bottle every now and then. The other colors that I usually go through the most are like certain blacks and whites, especially those that work really well for like for water marbling. So I'd say I probably have at least 3 or 4 bottles like OPI Black Onyx laying around. They probably could use to be combined all together because they're probably all half empty. But yeah, and really swatching doesn't take up that much polish since you're just doing like 1 nail's worth of polish. So here we have our finished. God, I'm still so bad at getting exactly where I want to be on the camera. I'm sorry, you guys. I mean, I think you can appreciate how glittery and shifty this is, even though the camera is not really capturing the true color of it. Like I said, it's much closer to this brighter turquoise, or like if you see, if I get too close to this camera, then you're going to get shadows, but it's much closer to this bright turquoise than it is to this like dark teal. And like I mentioned before too, I usually am kind of sloppy with the top coat, and then I'll just clean it up after it's fully dry when I wash my hands, and the little bits that get like right along the edge of your nail, they'll just peel right off. But what if you did? Well, if you did, then you just would have to buy more, of course. Gotten through base, top coat, black and white. Everything else is hung in there. What base and top coat do you use? Well, you know what I use, so I'm going to assume you're talking to her. Sorted by color. Painted some larger soup cans and glued them together. That's a pretty good idea. I'm still not sure quite how I'm going to store the sticks, because I know there's going to be a lot of them. But that's a good idea. I've also seen, like those things you put inside aquariums in like a clear jar, and that'll hold up the sticks. Yeah, cap the whole edge of the nail. Wow, I'm so behind on comments again, you guys. It is about happiness. And it's about collecting. Like when you're collecting stuff, it doesn't have to be something that you, absolutely need. It's part of the collection, so you need it because of that. And an artist sketchbook. Yeah, that would be convenient too. I mean, I do have a lot of swatches in my sketchbook, or sometimes I'll even have like a little swatch laying around that's like on the back of a receipt. Noble Gold. Just the name Noble Gold sounds like a beautiful color. 6 unopened bottles of Sèche-Vite. Let me see if I can get this. My nails are still, like I've said before, Sèche-Vite dries pretty quick, but not totally. Got this thing here, and inside of here is a full, what is it? It's a 4 fluid ounce big bottle that you can use to refill the smaller bottle. And one thing that I found is keeping the smaller bottle topped off seems to help it from getting really thick. It seems like the bottle gets thick, not just from having it open using it, but from having, you know, a little small amount in the bottom and then a big chunk of air at the top, ends up getting a lot thicker. Yeah, the giant refill bottle of Sèche-Vite. That's what that was. 3 years to get through. I go through it a lot quicker than that. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear. Let's see. You're back. Hello. Yeah, I moved it out of the way, but this is, like I said, it looks pretty on camera. I would actually love a polish in this shade, but it's much closer to this kind of a turquoisey blue than this kind of a teal blue. Yeah, The Man with the Golden Gun, I believe that one is called. I've got that, Barbie. Sèche-Vite thinner. Yeah, you know, I've never actually bought the what's it called? Sèche Restore. I've always, do I have it here? Let's see. Just used the Beauty Secrets brand from Sally. And I have used it in Sèche Vite. I know they say you're supposed to use Sèche Restore if you want to thin out Sèche Vite, but I haven't noticed any problems using just a regular polish thinner in it. I don't know what is supposed to be so special about Sèche Restore. A 2-ounce bottle of Restore. That's a lot of Restore. But maybe it does actually work better. But like I said, I very rarely have to thin it out since I keep it topped up. Maybe it's also that, you know, the polish from the refill bottle is still in its original state, so it helps with anything that's a little bit thicker in the nail polish bottle, and it ends up to just a nice consistency. But yeah, this is the finished manicure. I'm digging this. I wish it, actually I suppose we could zoom out a little bit more now that we're... Are you... No, am I dropping a whole bunch of frames? OBS, why are you turning red and orange on me? Well, I'm not fully sure what that means. Thank you, Tainted Dinosaur. Does the giant bottle of Sèche come with a dropper? You know, I think there's a little tiny funnel in there, but I don't usually use it. It's, I usually am able to just carefully pour it in there. I feel like I have to be... Yeah, I'm dropping a crap load of frames. My connection seems to really be fluctuating. I'm super sorry if you guys are like getting buffering or dropped frames or stuttering or any of that bad stuff. But we are just about to the... Well, we are to the end. I mean, the manicure is complete here. And since it seems to be staying in the red and the orange, I think I'm just going to wrap it up here instead of having Q&A. Was it Christmas? I've used it like twice. And I think it might have been for Christmas. I also remember I used it on my Sharpie manicure, which is one of my favorites. Oh, there we go. Green again. I wonder what that was all about. That's the first time I've really seen... It really caught my eye because I've never seen that little box in OBS go red before. My Sharpie manicure was one of the favorite manicures I've ever done, and that's another one that I told everybody, oh, I'm for sure going to do more Sharpie manicures, and never did. Your Sèche refill only had a twist-off cap. Yeah, Restore comes with a dropper. Huh. Yeah, isn't Restore's dropper like instead of a brush, like you open up the cap and it's got a dropper attached to it? Are we? Yeah, we're mostly dry. Like I said, I could touch it. It's not gonna leave a fingerprint. If I were to gouge at it, yeah, you'd get a dent. But I think if I can use my orange stick here, I can pop open this box. And, so we've got the big-ass bottle of Sèche Vite. And it comes with... Oh, it's not a little funnel. It's like a little, pointy top. In fact, I don't think it even has the top open yet. So I think the intention is when you want to use it to clip off the tip of this and unscrew the regular cap and screw this on and use it to like, well, not squirt because it's a glass bottle, but use that to guide it into your regular bottle. I'm usually able to do, well, not usually, always. I've never used that little thing. I'm able to just do it freehand because, I mean, it's not like pouring water. Sèche Vite goes, Sèche Vite goes pretty slowly, so you have more control than you might expect. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's a really good deal, too. I mean, I get mine on Amazon. I think they may have it at Sally's also, but if you figure out, like, you know, 4 ounces is like 8 bottles of polish, and you also get a regular small little bottle, which is kind of helpful because sometimes you may get weird stuff contaminating your bottle and you don't always want to keep filling up the same bottle. And I feel that one small bottle lasts about as long as one big bottle. So it works really well for me. I mean, I go through it in a few months, which sounds super crazy. Or shorter, depending on how often I'm doing my nails. when I was doing the 12 Days of Christmas, I felt like I was just going through so much top coat because I was doing my nails almost every day. But Sèche Vite makes that possible without sitting around with wet nails for hours on hours. Yeah. Shaky hands is another old person problem, to go back to our earlier conversation. Sometimes I feel that way too. Today I feel like my hands were actually a lot steadier than they were last Thursday when I was doing the what was it called? The full moon manicure. I really felt very trembly while I was doing that. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let's see if we have anybody. Ooh, yes, this is where we're gonna go. This is where we're gonna go. Can I just copy this? Some of you guys may be familiar with this makeup artist from YouTube. We are going to go ahead and raid and host Jordan Hands. She is awesome. I hope you guys enjoy her stream. Can drop a hello or you can lurk. I really appreciate all you guys showing up and hanging out with me. Thank you all so much for watching. And I don't have a specific raid message, Liz. I know I should have a good raid message, but just stop in and say hello. And I'll see you guys next time, I hope.
The fucking request.